Hello and welcome back. I am using the Cascade mold that I have here from Pouring Your Heart Out. My first color is a Peacock from Octopus Inks. I'm going to pour that down the center. Beautiful blue color. The other color that you'll see next to the Peacock blue is the teal that I've got mixed with some enoki in my other cup. And then for my white, I am using Just Resin Titanium White. I'm going to put those aside. Here's my... In this cup, I've just gotten some gold from Let's Resin, and I think I may have put too much because this particular powders, metallic powders, you don't need very much. I will talk about what I'm doing in a moment because there'll be lots of time for that. So in my cup with the gold, and I chose antique gold this time, I am pouring on the edge of the mold, and I'm doing so only because I know it's going to fall back in, and I want to be able to, maybe when I do a push, that it pushes this gold up the sides of the mold. So I'm doing it in between, as you can see, this edge of the blue towards the edge of the mold. Now normally I'd go around again, but because I mixed this rather maybe too much, I'm just going to stop there. I'm not going to put too much. In my piping bag I have this titanium white. I'm going to cut about a 2 millimeter hole, and I'm going to start dotting. So the technique I'm doing is called the metallic dolly dot from Resin Art by Lilian. I seem to have to do at least one of these techniques several times a week with different colors. Now this dotting is very similar to resincourses.com, where there is something called the fairy flower, where you do a bunch of dots. So this is the metallic dolly dot, and as I said, I'm using the Cascade mold from Pouring Your Heart Out. My resin of choice is Art Pro from Resin Pro. It's a 3:2 ratio. And what I'm going to be doing now is just dotting in a circle almost all the way into the center. Now the other day when I did this, my hole was a little bit smaller, so my dots were a bit smaller. Today they seem a little bigger. I hope that's not going to be a problem because they're supposed to be smaller. So I will try and control that a little bit better when I get more into the center. So for me, it's been very hard to sort of replicate this each time. Each time I do it, I get a different outlook, which is cool because then each piece is its individual limited series. I'm almost thinking, I wonder if I could transfer this to a smaller, to another bag and make smaller dots, but oh well. I'm gonna, since I do this more than once or twice a week, I can vary the size, I suppose, right? So feel free to fast forward, as this is going to take a little bit of time. But I'm just going to basically just dot my way almost to the center, not quite. I'm deliberately not torching my bubbles that you see. Supposedly it suspends your white a little bit better for hopefully some better pedaling. Okay, then I'm going to put that aside for a moment. And in this cup, where I've got my teal from Octopus, I really wanted a green, but this is a different kind of green. I'm going to drop it on top of my gold. Now the course tells you how much resin, how many drops, etc. So it's a good source of the recipe for this particular technique. All these courses have the recipe. So that's kind of thin, oh well. Okay, then in this cup, I have placed clear with a little bit of Psych Gold powder from Laura's Art Corner, just for a little sparkle. So I'm going to just pour that in the center, make my piece go all the way to the sides. Put in as much of it as I can. I might even lift it up. Scrape all of it in. While it's settling that, I have here a little glitter that I put together, that I'm kind of making into a paste that I will put into the center of my piece in a moment. So I'm just gonna, I forgot to stir it, so I'm just stirring it up right now. Then I am taking my piping bag again. Oh shoot, didn't see that. I dropped a couple pieces. Come on out. Oh, don't you spoil my pattern here. Okay. Note to self, never stir on top of your piece. Okay, hopefully I got it all. Then with my piping bag, I'm going to dot again. And this time I am going to go all the way into the center. And then I'm going to work my way out. So as I said, I'm not going to say much, so feel free to fast forward through this dotting procedure. And I'm going to go out. And I'm keeping my eye on how much of the white I have, because after I do this, I am going to pause and going to stir a new batch of clear resin that I will be putting into the center. And then after that pour, or the second push as we call it, I'm going to dot some more. So momentarily I'm going to check that I have enough white. Yep, I think I do. Yep. So I'm just going to do some more. This has become sort of obsession for me because it always is different, and I'm always trying to recreate the beautiful petals that sometimes I get, and so I keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I haven't quite figured out the precise formula for everything. Oops, that kind of went for wire. Like, you know, the size of the hole of the piping bag. Yeah, that mica powder kind of really spread it through. Shoot. Hope it doesn't ruin my piece eventually. Okay, so I am going to put back some out here. This part really reminds me of the fairy flower. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a moment, mix up some new resin, and be right back. Okay, so here is my clean, fresh batch that I'm going to pour into the center. And that's just about the right amount of resin for this mold. And before that closes up, I am going to put in my little center of glitter. I'm not going to put that much this time. I just want a little small little dot worth of it. Let's see if I can get some more. That was a little too small. Scrape it from the cup here. Okay, put it at the end of my tool here and just sort of scoop it gently. Gently into the center. I'm just going to move that. That's it. And I'm going to push it down and hope it stays in the center. Okay, so I did that. Now with my The rest of my white, I'm going to push my white resin to the very top here. Come on, get up there. There you go. More dots. I hope my gold doesn't overtake. That's my only concern, and I'm going to remember next time on this particular powder to not put so much. I'm really controlling the outflow of these dots because I want them really small. Okay, now since I have some more here, I'm going to squeeze all of it. I don't know if you're like me, but I really have gotten quite addicted to this dots. Only because there's that moment of anticipation when you unmold, like to say, oh, what kind of petals did I get? What kind of petals did I get? At least for me. Since I have some more, I'm going to go more. Come on, squeeze up a little bit more. All right, that is it for this one. Now I'm going to torch. I hope that glitter, I don't want to poke it down only because I don't want to mess with my petals there. So hopefully there was some on the bottom. So we shall see you for the unmolding. Oh boy, I'm excited to see how this turns out. Looks like I might have a little clear center and that my petals didn't close. We shall see. Oh boy. Here we go. Oh, interesting. Nice petaling. So that's, I got to figure out why it didn't close. So I will have to embellish this with probably Duraclear and some of that glitter to sort of close up that hole. So not too bad. Was trying to go for Peacock. Let me bring you in for a close-up. Okay, thank you for watching.